When I saw this headline, my stomach dropped, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because this is how I feel like it starts. One group leaves rubbish, stays too long, and suddenly we're all a nuisance. I live in a van full time, not on holidays, not on weekends, not sneaking around. This is my home. And yeah, I have stayed in tricky spots, so let's talk about that. I saw this article about illegal campers being moved on from the Sunshine Coast, leaving rubbish, overstaying in beach car parks. It made me really sad because I haven't stayed at those beaches. Not for long, not over the holidays, because I've seen what happens. Rubbish, people pushing the limits, crowded spots that make locals feel used. I honestly try to avoid that. Not because I'm better in some way, but because I don't want to be a part of that problem. Honestly, I don't want to be treated like the problem either. And this story doesn't just affect backpackers, rule breakers, it trickles down to all of us living this life. And the ones doing it respectfully, quietly, and most importantly, legally. Wait, look, I do have a confession. I've stayed at sports grounds, car parks, those grey zone areas. But you know what? I've also picked up other people's rubbish. I even actually brought a grabber, like a little so you can pick up rubbish, so you don't have to pick it up with your hands. I bought one of those to help me clean up my rubbish and other people's rubbish. And I move on early before the locals start their morning walks, not because I'm sneaky in this thing. It looks like I live in it, you know, but because I respect the space. Most of the time I use wiki camps and vibes, to be really honest. And I know that sounds really odd, but you can kind of tell when locals walking past are kind of over you being in that spot. And I get it. It isn't fair when a few backpackers treat the beach like their backyard for a month and then fly out of the country, no fine, no impact, right? And I don't want to be lumped in with that. It's just not how I live. And some of us rely on these apps and word of mouth, not just to find spots, but to find safe spots. As a woman living on the road, that extra little layer really matters. And it's not just about safety from people, it's about not being in someone's way, not taking up space where kids play football or the elderly folks go on their morning walks. It's the emotional toll of the weight of being moved on, to be really honest with you. It's the stress of it. It's heavy. Even when you're doing the right thing, there's that kind of like low hum of fear. Will I get a knock? Will someone say something? And it becomes part of your day. Where can I sleep tonight? Is this spot okay? Should I move before sunset? That constant mental load does wear you down. And there are nights where I've parked up, windows covered, everything is silent, and I just lay there kind of wide awake thinking, should I move? Are the rangers going to come? Am I going to get fined? It's heavy and it's stressful. I've seen mess and it makes me so sad because the truth is I love the places that I stay. That's why I'm there. I clean up where I can because I want councils and locals to see Vanlife as a nomadic lifestyle people, that we're respectful guests and we're not problems. And even when I leave a site cleaner, when I found it, I still get nervous because the one angry local might only see the van and not the effort or the respect that I'm putting in. And that's not to say that we're perfect, but some of us, and I honestly believe most of us, are trying hard to get it right. Also, is it just me, or does like every town need like a vibe check? Like a vibe checked approved camping zone. Not like beachside, not next to a bin though. You know what I mean? Just like somewhere that people can enjoy the local space. And you know, 100% some people look at me and think, homeless. And others, I tend to find they get it. They see that, you know, this is something that I've chosen for my life. But I feel like the hardest part is that the assumption is that I'm somehow dangerous or unstable. I am not on drugs. I am not trashing the place. I just want to live a different kind of lifestyle to you. And when it comes down to it, if more people took the time to say hello or to talk to us a little bit, not that I want them to talk to us, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of that fear and concern would go away. We're just trying to live gently, affordably, quietly, and at peace. You know, some of us are artists, remote workers, caregivers. Some people are in burnout recovery, and some are escaping rent that they couldn't afford anymore. It's all walks of life, and it's not something that needs to be feared. It's just living differently. That being said, no, I don't think it's getting harder to live on the road. I just think that more people are seeing it. And what scares me is that there's this crackdown mentality that one day this kind of lifestyle won't be allowed. It will be straight up illegal. And I should be free to live how I want within respectful boundaries. Because let's be real here, housing at the moment, nearly all across the globe, the world, isn't affordable. Full stop. And van life sometimes is the only option people have that still gives them dignity. I just hope that we don't make this mistake of pushing the visible symptoms away or punishing them as a way of hiding ourselves from the root problem. You want fewer vans at beaches? Cool, give us somewhere else. Not powered, not fancy, just somewhere we're allowed and somewhere that we're safe. Because if the only legal option is 40 minutes away from any shred of civilization and you're on a budget, what do you think is going to happen? And honestly, the cost to councils is going to be nothing compared to the good that it brings. We spend locally, we eat out, we fuel up. We're not freeloaders. And what if every town had a designated spot? Especially towns that say that they're RV friendly. I spilt that water everywhere and that's way too hot for my tea. But that's what I mean, like especially towns that say that they're RV friendly. What about a little sign that says, we see you and you're welcome here in this spot where you can spend money in our economy? And I chose this because I wanted more time, less work, more life. And if someone says, just get a house, you gotta laugh. Because you almost need to be living in a van and working full time for like 3 years, kind of just to get a house. And my tea bag just fell off my string. Still less annoying than not being able to find a free camp. Anyway, this life has really given me space to heal, to grow, and to actually live, and I enjoy my life far more now than I feel like I ever have before. And it's not always easy, and it's not always peaceful, but it's mine and it's something that I've chosen, and I wake up knowing every day that my day is mine to decide. And to me, that's my freedom. And it stings to feel like you're part of the problem. That's my phone. As I said, it stings to feel like you're part of the problem when all you're doing is just existing a little bit differently. I've had people kind of like walk past the van and like shake their heads like in a disapproving manner. I've seen comments online saying we all should be fined, our vehicles towed when we're not in them. And those people knowing full well that these are our houses, right? But I've also had strangers offer to bring me coffee, giving me a whole watermelon once, offer me a safe place to park. And some people have even thanked me for being respectful and cleaning up after teenagers, delinquents, whatever, have trashed the place. The world isn't black and white, and most of us are just trying to make it work with whatever we have. What I hope is that we don't lose sight of kindness, that we make room for people who do live differently, who don't tick the usual boxes, who maybe aren't on a 30-year mortgage plan. Because life itself isn't about rebellion, it's about freedom in its truest meaning. It's about reclaiming time, it's about adapting in a world that is changing very fast. I know not everyone who lives in a van does it right, but most of us, we're trying. We love your towns, we love your beaches, we love your forests, we love your space. And we want to be part of your community, even if it's just for a day or a few days, you know? What keeps me going in this lifestyle is free camps. The comfort, the freedom, the joy of waking up to birds instead of traffic like you're hearing at my brother's house. And I might not have a backyard per se, my own personal strip of nature that I can call mine, but I've got a life that feels like it's mine, that I own it, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. If you are thinking about van life, or you're doing van life, or anything in between, you just want to live a little bit differently, that's pretty much all we talk about on this channel, because I live full-time in this van and I make videos about it. Make sure that you like, subscribe, you know, all that jazz. And I think together we can make a little community that isn't afraid to live the life that they deserve. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Ow. My tea bag, my thing came off. That's so annoying, isn't it? That it just comes off like that. Why does it do that? This looks way too hot still. Maybe it'll be done, maybe it'll be cooled off by the time I'm done editing in like 3 hours. Okay, bye.